He remembered the smell of the Canadian forest, the crisp autumn air carrying the scent of pine and damp earth, a small hand clutching his. He knew her name. He knew his name. James Howlett. For the first time in his life, Logan felt a completeness that resonated deep in his bones, a story unfolding with perfect clarity. In this idyllic world, crafted by the Scarlet Witch, his deepest desire had been granted. He knew who he was, where he came from, every step of his long, often brutal journey. The missing pieces of his past, the very foundation of his identity, were not just present, but vibrant, cherished memories. This was a world where he was whole, where the phantom limb of his forgotten history was finally restored. He walked through days filled with a calm understanding, a sense of belonging that had eluded him for so long in the real world. He remembered his childhood, the simple joys and painful awakenings. He recalled the early flashes of his powers, the first time his claws erupted, not with horror, but with a primal, instinctive understanding. He remembered the love, the loss, the faces of those who had shaped him, who had loved him, and those he had failed. Then, the world began to unravel. It wasn't a slow fade, but a sudden, violent tear. The vibrant colors of this perfect reality bled into something muted, distorted. The comforting sounds became a cacophony, and a visceral, gut-wrenching pain ripped through him, not just physical, but an agony of the soul. When reality finally snapped back into its original, broken form, the world was a blur of confusion and chaos. But for Logan, the chaos was amplified by a singular, terrifying difference. He remembered. He remembered everything. While everyone else around him was reeling from the abrupt shift, struggling to piece together fragments of a reality that no longer was, Logan stood alone, utterly swamped. The House of M reality, for all its artifice, had given him his memories back. And when it was gone, those memories didn't vanish with it. Instead, they flooded his consciousness, a tsunami of experiences, faces, names, places, battles, loves, and losses. Decades, perhaps even centuries of a life lived, crashing down on him all at once. Imagine bearing the weight of every choice, every regret, every triumph, not as abstract concepts, but as living, breathing moments replayed in your mind's eye. For Logan, it was as if a dam had burst, and the river of his own history, long obstructed by amnesia, now carved new, deeper channels in his psyche. He remembered being James Howlett, a sickly boy in 19th century Canada. He remembered his first love, Rose, and the tragic accident that took her life and unveiled his mutant nature. He remembered his time as Logan, a wild man in the Canadian wilderness, guided by instincts. The memories pressed on. The cold, calculating world of Team X, where he was honed into a weapon, alongside others like Victor Creed and Silver Fox. He remembered the missions, the betrayals, the moral compromises that stained his soul. Then came the true horror, Weapon X. The excruciating pain of adamantium being bonded to his skeleton, the dehumanization, the animalistic rage that simmered beneath the surface, often boiling over. He recalled every scream, every act of violence, every life taken, whether in self-defense, cold blood, or under duress. It wasn't just the horrors, though. He remembered the quiet moments of connection, the rare glimpses of tenderness, the camaraderie he found in unexpected places. He remembered his time with the X-Men, his friendships, his rivalries, his deep, complicated affection for Jean Grey. It was a complete tapestry, woven with threads of profound love and unimaginable suffering, fierce loyalty and brutal betrayal. This sudden, total recall was an immediate and profound turning point for Wolverine. For decades, his primary motivation had been to uncover his past. He fought for answers, grappled with fragmented visions, yearned for the truth. Now he had it all. And the truth was not a comforting balm, but a raw, searing wound. He finally knew the full extent of his bloody, complicated, and often tragic history. He was no longer a man defined by a mystery, but by the undeniable weight of his own experiences. This burden of knowledge profoundly altered his character. He became more focused, perhaps a little heavier, certainly more haunted. He understood the roots of his own rage, the wellspring of his resilience, the depth of his capacity for both savagery and compassion. He saw himself, for the first time, not as a collection of fragmented moments, but as a continuous, often scarred narrative. This new clarity, while traumatic, also offered a strange kind of freedom. He no longer had to search, he had to live with what he found. This experience of remembering everything made Wolverine a truly unique figure in the Marvel Universe. He was a walking history book, a living archive of a life that spanned generations, filled with secrets and bloodshed that few could ever comprehend. It shaped the choices he made, the relationships he pursued, and the quiet, heavy resolve that settled within him. He was a man who, for better or worse, finally knew his own story. This journey from a blank slate to a man burdened with every memory, every scar, truly solidified Wolverine's iconic status. It gave him an unshakable foundation, a depth that continues to resonate with readers. It reminds us that understanding our past, even the difficult parts, is crucial to understanding who we are and who we can become. What do you think about Wolverine's unique journey through memory? How do you imagine you would cope with suddenly remembering centuries of life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into the characters that shape our favorite universes.